arrested for the message that was written on the wall there. It was a threat having to do with shooting up the school and a message to make yourself safe, basically. And the date would be the 12th that was planned to happen.
Okay. To reiterate, for any students that are hearing about this, and you know, with it happening in some other schools, and you know, some of them may be thinking, hey, this is how I get out of an English test of 5th period, or this is how I deal with this. The consequences aren't worth, you know, what you're trying to do. How seriously are y'all taking these, and how much trouble is somebody facing?
Dal, I've told you many times, zero tolerance here in Bulloch County and the rest of our school system. There's children that go to school every day that want to get an education to further their lives in different career fields. And as a sheriff here in this county, I will not tolerate any type of threat. We take all threats seriously. They will be investigated and followed through with. If it's where an arrest is made, it will be handled then by the DA's office and our juvenile justice system through our juvenile judges here in Bulloch County.
You know, Sheriff, we live in a day and age where we see, you know, school threats online, you know, written on things like that. Talk about law enforcement's perspective, having to deal with that now, how the threat can be seen as something that's not too serious or something that is serious.
We take all of them serious, sir. Bottom line is a lot of times the man hours, the staffing it involves to deal with actually trying to find out where it may have come from, if it's a social media deal. Let's say a spoof phone call that is not able to be traced. I'm going to tell you, I'm quite irritated with the fact that somebody evidently, and I will say it could be a juvenile, it could be a grown-up. I would advise them to get them a job, stay busy, and let's stay away from this type of behavior, because again, we're going to find out who you are sooner or later if you play around with it long enough. Like in the case today, it was able to an end to be brought to it, and somebody to be responsible and to have to be charged with the incident, and that's what we're going to do. In all cases, are we going to find out who they are? Probably not, but I guarantee you we're going to look and keep looking and keep looking, and we're going to find you if you mess up in doing this. It disrupts the whole day for everybody at that school. That's why I send this message as the sheriff of this county. I will not tolerate it. So there's kids there that want to get an education and further their life, and they're going to do great things. But you got a small group sometimes that are either mad at something or watching too much TV or on the phone too much, watching something that somebody else has done, and they think it's funny. Folks, this is not funny. I send a message to everyone in this county and our surrounding counties that this office will not tolerate it. The agency inside of this county that work with me every day, whether it's a federal agency, state agency, or a municipality, we're going to work together to take care of the kids that are trying to do right by snuffing out the few that cannot do right. Period.
And I know that this can cause a lot of panic for parents. Their first instinct is to run, you know, in the direction of the school and get their kids. But talk about how that can sometimes, you know, make it harder for you guys.
The hardest thing, depending on the type of threat, ma'am, is the fact that you're dealing with lines of parents that are very aware. I have children myself, and I want to rush to my kids' aid. But we'd ask that they would just trust us. I feel like here in Bulloch County, we probably have some of the best working relationships as far as rushing to the aid and immediately start handling the things that we need to handle as far as the investigative part of it. Can we tell you not to come and get your kid? We can't do that. We're going to try to see if we can make that happen. Some cases, if it's a lockdown, hard lockdown, that's not going to happen immediately. It may be the type of threat that's going on. Would it cause further panic or harm to let them out? Maybe in harm's way, because we may not know what the threat is at the time, or have identified the threat. So there's a lot of things that play into that. But we're always going to work with the parents. We understand that they care and they love the children. Again, I have children myself, and I am compassionate to that fact. But I would say if you just trust us, know that we're on top of this because of lessons learned from other instances, not only locally around the area here surrounding in other states, but throughout our nation. And we are on it, we're training for it, and we pay attention to it.
I know you guys said you take every single case seriously. Has it been determined if the student was, do you think the student was serious about the threat and following through? Or?
Sir, it doesn't matter if they're serious about it or not. If you take your hand with any type of writing device and write it on a wall and you admit to doing it, we'll let the court system figure that out. That answers your question?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
For anybody that's saying, well, you know, was it a credible threat, or was that, you know, this threat deemed non-credible? That part doesn't matter, does it?
Correct. Does not matter. All will be investigated and handled accordingly. Dale, I go back again, 0 tolerance. I'd much rather a judge, the format of prosecution defense, deal with that matter. If there's a case to be made, we're gonna make the case and we're gonna turn it over to the proper authorities.